this wedding episode was a lot, and each character didn't only come to see Nate and Cassie's wedding, but it also served as a sort of high school reunion, and that has exposed for each one of them the decisions they've made in their life. So I will go over each character and how every conversation that happened had a lot of underlying meaning. Lexi doesn't have a big role this episode, but I want to talk about her broadly in this season. Cassie has always been the big sister that took all the light and all the attention, but Lexi liked that position. She liked being in her shadow because she sees how being sexualized had a big effect on Cassie. She sort of sits behind and watches. That's also sort of her life story. She always has been sitting in the passenger seat of her own life, and that's called dissociating. Now, I'm not a psychologist, but I just relate to that sort of defense mechanism because in case of trauma, what can happen is to protect you, your brain sort of dissociates. You leave your body. It's like for me and for Lexi, you sort of see everything as a movie or a show to make it sort of okay, to experience those traumas. So her becoming a director, or at least trying to be, is really sort of good. I mean, I don't have a lot to say on her story of season 3 because, we haven't seen much. But what we see is that she didn't change as much. She's the assistant of the director, which of course is because she's new, but also I feel like she likes this position of taking care of someone. And Dr. Courtney Tracy is analyzing every episode, and she is always so spot on, and her videos are always so interesting to watch. So if you want a maybe more precise analysis, I recommend you to watch literally every video she makes of this season of Euphoria. But back to the wedding, when Lexi asks Cassie if everything is okay, it's mirroring, well, everything that I just said, but also the fact that in Cassie's POV, Lexi is just deeply judgmental. Talking about Cassie, last week I posted a video about her, actually, and I talked about how Nate and her are in a trauma bound. Since actually the beginning of season 2. Cassie has left season 1 without any boyfriend, which is her only source of validation. And Nate also has just broken up with Maddie. I mean, Maddie has broken up with him. What is not that much said is that Nate also craves validation when his self-image is deeply flawed since he's a child. He needs this validation that he is a man and he is so much better than his dad. So actually both are creating this image that fulfill their respective needs, which is obviously really unhealthy. And last thing I found interesting about, because I did say a lot in my last video, so I'm gonna skip over Cassie real quick, but I found out because I saw a reel talking about her dress of Cassie, and it is telling of her because a bride's dress is usually really personal. You make it your own in the broderie or the color or the cut or just, anything, but it is your own wedding dress. But for Cassie, it is a Wedoroff. I don't know if I'm saying the name right, but he is making dresses that are really trendy and beautiful, by the way, but she's wearing the most bland version of it possible. It's just a corset with a dress. She is basically telling that she knows what is trending and just put it on without even knowing why it is trending, calling back to her lack of taste. Talking about Maddie, I've seen people talking about how it's not about Nate that she left, it's about Cassie. And even though it is a little bit true, it is even more complicated than that. I mean, she did come at the wedding to sort of have a revenge. Like, she's above it, and she didn't think it will be this emotional for her because she has clearly moved on from Nate and Cassie, but obviously she's still hurt and she wasn't ready for that, that slap in the face kind of. Because also, one thing that is sort of not talked about, which is interesting, is that in episode 2, her mom actually talked to her about having a boyfriend, but she says she doesn't have
I don't have time for a boyfriend.
Has a big sense of self and a big sense of confidence. So this is why she would have never got this far with Nate. But at the wedding, she kind of forgets it because she's obviously seeing this big and beautiful wedding, actually. And this is why there's a shot after that where, she comes back to her basement, basically her place, because it shows that what is really, cutting her is that she's not where she wants to be in life. She's really building herself. But I also saw that people are saying that this is a lesson on you don't really always see your blessings, because at the end of this wedding, Cassie literally has a nosebleed and Nate, the ending, but Maddie doesn't see that. So, maybe you have blessings that you don't even realize. Jules is in a golden prison, or a glass prison. She have the penthouse with the view on the towers, which always, to me at least, showcase power and, of course, money. But that's the surface. The reality is that this is not her apartment, and her self-esteem is is we left Jules in season 2 pretty sure of who she is. I mean, in terms of like expressing herself. But we see that the adult world has sort of changed her. I mean, she has stopped school. I mean, dropped out of school because she got herself into the sugar baby industry or like business. I don't know how to call that. As we can see in this episode, literally, it's been made really slowly. I mean,
all I have to do is see this guy twice a month and he pays my rent.
I mean, she's sort of thinking that it's just seeing a guy and maybe not further, but just seeing him twice a month and your rent is paid. But what she doesn't realize is that not only is she selling her time, but also the belief that she has in herself and in her art, which I think will unravel later. I think this is just like the beginning of Jules's art. But also her painting is reflecting of the situation. I mean, she's painting basically herself in a position that is toy-like, that basically seems uncomfortable and around red. Red is obviously danger in the color theory. I don't know if you've seen my other videos, but if you did, you know. And I've seen people connecting Cassie to Jules in that way, since that they both live an image of wealth and success, but actually it's not that. And I do think it is a good, you know, parallel, but they, to me at least, always have been this not so different characters because they sort of both needing male validation, and whereas Jules stopped because she grew into herself and femininity, but she still had this ability, I guess, to leave her body again. As I talked before for Lexi, she can, when things get, you know, uncomfortable, just leave her body. And I think this is what's happening with her life sometimes when she's in an uncomfortable situation with, you know, sugar daddies, she just leave her body. But that's also come back to Maddie. I mean, I love how like they're all intertwined. Like, I know we can hate Sam Levinson, trust, I get it, but I like how he writes such depthful characters. Anyway, I was saying, reflecting on Maddie is that at least Maddie has her apartment. And when she does portray this vision of herself that is way more glamorous than it actually is, but still, at least her sense of self and her confidence didn't really change from high school. And in that wedding, Jules has two meaningful conversations, and one with Nate and one with his dad. It's obvious that both of them have this connection to each other, and when we have seen their story, season 1 have been more of showing the effect that Nate had on Jules. Like, she has been really touched by him. I mean, he blackmailed her, obviously, like impacted her, but mentally her definition of womanhood will be, I mean, I have a full video of them if you want to check that out, but in season 2 it's setting more clearly that their, you know, feelings are mutual. But this isn't, with this conversation, it's saying that their respective life decisions are so different. I mean, they could have been a thing, but that's only if Nate hadn't been such in trouble with his self-image, sexuality and all of that. They're literally at his wedding with another woman, with Cassie. So of course this conversation is tense and has a lot of feelings in it, but it's more so showing their life now. And then there is this conversation with Cal. And this conversation kind of touched on my personal story because they're having a conversation about, like, you know, how Cal life now is, you know, he's a registered predator. I mean, and rightfully so. But I also have this conversation about high school and how for him it was the best time of his life. And for him that's a reality. And Jules, you know, strongly disagrees. And that's because high school was the best time of Cal's life. I mean, this is where he was truly himself. He wasn't in this family. And at the end of high school, he just started exploring his sexuality with his best friend. But after that, he's been trapped in this marriage and, you know, had children, and, you know, his life has been stopped after high school. So this is why he's so stuck on it. But in Jules' life though, we've seen how difficult it was for her as a trans girl, especially. High school has always been such a step into bigger things for her, and that whole convo also reflects on Rue, because they also have this conversation where, you know, Rue is asking Jules if she misses school, or she says no. But the reason why Rue also is high school is because it was the last time she's been sort of carefree, and after high school her life only got worse, in the addiction way, in the lifestyle way, and she always got deeper and deeper into that lifestyle, you know. And this is why Maddie and Jules, and probably Lexi if you ask her, doesn't regret high school, because they only got better after high school. And it kind of helps me because I've quit high school 2 years ago now. I mean, almost. Next month it'll be like, you know, 2 years. And I don't know, it only got better. Obviously, like, I only got like bigger and broader in my expression of self because I was in homophobic high school. I mean, it's just like, it was a hard time in high school. I guess I had a hard time imagining that life continues after high school. I don't know, like, high school was so intense for me and so, you know, energy consuming that I still have a hard time, to be honest, thinking that life continues on, because after high school, actually, I mean, life expands into infinity. Like, you can be anywhere you want, you know, like you have all the choices in the world, and that could be extremely terrifying but also extremely freeing. But yeah, like if someone watching is, you know, not in college yet or in adult world yet, like I promise you it's okay. Like, don't listen to people saying that, you know, life only gets worse after it, because their life only got worse after, but that doesn't mean yours is gonna be either. And my community, I mean, people who watch my videos are usually older than me even, so I want to know your opinion on the comments. But anyway, after you've watched an episode and you just want to, you know, understand it more, there is insides on YouTube of the show. And also, again, Dr. Tracy that I talked about before has always such a great analysis of every episode, so go watch her videos. And yeah, thank you for watching and love you.